Hey, I'm John David Ware, producer of Final Frequency in theaters June 11th. I'm also the founder-director of the 168 Film Project, and I'm on the Coriolis Effect with Cory.
Welcome to the Coriolis Effect with Cory Oliver.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode.
Hi guys, we wanted to announce that like many podcasters, we just started a Patreon account. Visit our page at patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. We have 5 different levels of membership and offer early access to episodes, behind the scenes footage, bonus episodes, shoutouts, and much more, including personal phone calls, questions and answer sessions, and live chats with Bob and me. That's patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. Today's episode is brought to you by Aqua 9 Plus all-natural ionic mineral alkaline drinking water. Aqua 9 Plus is one of the first and only all-natural ionic mineral bottled drinking waters in the world. It has one of the highest and most stable pH of any bottled water on the market, with a pH ranging from 9.5 to 10. And I gotta tell you, besides tasting great, high alkaline water has so many positive health benefits. It increases your endurance, it deactivates pepsin in the body, which helps reduce the occurrences of upset stomachs. It neutralizes pesticides and fungicides on produce. It increases oxygen delivery throughout the body, and it helps reduce heartburn and indigestion. When you consider that coffee can have a pH as low as 2, which is very acidic, that pH can be neutralized by using high pH water. And a medical study has suggested that alkaline ionized water may have benefits for people with high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. You can go to aqua9plus.com. That's AQUANINEPLUS.com to find the nearest store that sells Aqua 9 Plus all-natural ionic mineral alkaline drinking water. They also sell a home water system which produces purified ionic mineral 9.5 plus pH drinking water naturally directly in your home without the use of electricity.
And you
Wow,
can also
that's cool.
Yeah, and you can also find filling stations at local grocery stores. If you go to their website, aqua9plus.com, they'll tell you where the nearest filling station is near you. So you go there with a 5-gallon jug or a 2-gallon jug, pay your money, and it fills it up, and it lasts for a couple of weeks.
There's actually one at Air One. There's all the Air Ones. It's a great water. It's really great water. It actually tastes great. We are grateful to have them on the show and supporting us.
Yes.
But I also love their water.
No, the water tastes great.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Cory. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Well, good. I wanted to say to you earlier that you look as if you have lost a little bit of weight. Is that true?
I don't know.
And not that you needed to, because you certainly did not need to. But
Wasn't backhanded.
No.
I don't know. I have to check.
Not at all.
I haven't stepped on a scale in a while. A scale is not my friend recently.
Okay. Well, anyway, you look great.
Well, only because I caught my scale lying 3 times, and I don't want to talk to it anymore.
No, I don't even have one.
I did spend, though, and I'm trying to think if this was worth it. So I have to reboot my computer at least 3 times a day when I'm editing stuff because, the computer overworks and all the memory issues. And every time I start my computer, I have to do 4 or 5 things. Put, 2 screens here and open up these windows and open. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes. So I started looking at, there's a program called AutoHotkey, which is basically you can create a script and have it do it automatically. So in order to save myself 3 minutes every time I turn on my computer, I spent 8 hours on the weekend learning how to work
see
this.
that. That's hilarious.
So now I have to wait about 6 months until that time catches up that I'm actually saving time.
You are so funny. 2 things I just want to say is A, we didn't start the timer, so I don't know how long we are supposed to go for. And B, speaking of that subject.
Your A was that I forgot to do something?
Yeah. One of my very dear friends who I love so much gave me a good point. And that is that this beginning of these episodes are just droning on. So I don't want to drone on. I don't want people to be like, oh, so we're going to speed this part of it up and
Listen,
get
I love
to
your
the
podcast,
guest.
but you talk too much.
Yeah. We can. And you know what? Listen, I always say this, faithful are the wounds of a friend. And I value my friends. Those that are my friends, I understand that I'm pulled on tight. And so I expect and welcome any constructive criticism because it's helpful. In life, we can't just think that we know and have all the answers.
I agree.
So I'm grateful.
Well, we always like feedback.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, we'll shorten these down to say, 4, 5, 6 minutes. And we'll ask people in the comments that if you like it at 4 minutes, let us know. If you want us to go back to 10, let us know. If you want us to go down to 1 minute, let us know.
Yes, exactly. And speaking of, we don't have a timer, so I don't know how long we've been talking.
It's in my head. We've been talking for 1 minute and 42 seconds.
I'm going to say 2:35.
Yeah, I do the editing.
I know.
I can make it anything I want.
I know. Well, anyway, so that's kind of a interesting thing. And
well, on that note, who's our guest today?
Our guest today is an old friend of mine, and I've known him for a long time. I don't get to see him often. You know, this business, it comes and goes very quickly, but
and
he
we've been
is
shut in for the last year and a half.
Right. John David Ware. He is the founder.
The producer.
You're the producer and the founder of the 168 Film Project. And today he's coming on the show to talk about his current film called Final Frequency.
Right. Starring
Charles Shaughnessy from The Nanny. And
Lou Ferrigno Jr.
Yes. And Kirby Bliss Benton. Did I say that right? She has a tongue-twisting name, and I don't want to mess it up because she's fantastic.
Yeah, she was very good in the movie.
She's great.
Yes.
This is probably a nightmare for you right now. Currently, I'm sure, this whole sound. I'm so sorry. People understand. Kirby Bliss Blanton. Yeah.
Kirby Bliss Blanton and one other person.
Oh, Richard Burgi. Yeah,
right.
He's great. He's from Desperate Housewives and Hostel 11.
And many other people in the movie. These are just the ones we know of.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's one of those films that it's beautifully shot. It looks like a $20 million, budget. Anyway, we're going to talk about
it's a good film, too.
It's a great
Very
film.
engaging, and it's a surprise ending.
Yeah. So I'm sure he'll have some great, amazing stories. He's been doing this a very long time. The 168 Film Festival used to be called Film Festival. It's now called Film Project. It was created to, there would be contests. There are contests based on scripture. And you can go to the 168 Film Project and what is it called when you not subscribe?
Register.
Register. Thank you. Couldn't think of the word. Register and to be in this contest, and it's just a great. You're laughing at me.
I'm not laughing at you.
You're not?
No.
Oh, you have that smirk on your face.
I'm definitely smirking.
This is the problem with you not having a camera.
All right. We'll put a camera on, but my head's going to be behind my mic. That's
good. I like that. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to him today.
It'll be fun.
Okay.
All right. We will see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
See Final Frequency at a theater near you, starting June 11th, 2021.
Tesla was a genius. His most amazing discoveries thought to be written in a lost journal. Now, in the right hands, it could revolutionize the 21st century, but in the wrong hands, kill him. Jump.
If you can stop an earthquake, doesn't that mean you could start one too?
That's why that notebook should never fall into the wrong hands.
There's an old brown battered notebook in my office at work. You have to find it, take it, and keep it hidden at all costs. The G20 leaders meeting downtown, they're in danger. In fact, the whole of downtown could be in danger.
If we are to build a superhuman, we must first eliminate those who are flawed.
People are created equally. All of downtown, the high-rises were built on rollers to withstand horizontal shakes. A vertical quake this size could collapse half of downtown.
We have commenced the countdown.
Shall we stop this thing?
Save the universe!
Hey, let's start the show.
Yes, let's start the show. Yes, let's start the show.
I have one of these.
Yeah.
They're great mics, aren't they?
They are.
They are great.
I bought this just for you, Cory.
I know.
Notice how I don't have one?
Well, no, I mean, your mic looks like it's something from a sci-fi movie. It's.
Yeah, but you're looking at the mic stand or the what do you call the buffer. My mic was $49.99. Yours was 10 times that amount. Literally.
There's like a competition on the show with Bob and I. You know, I have to. What's that?
I'm always losing.
You're always losing. But first, let's get to our guest. Today we have in the studio a Mr. John David Ware, who I've known for, I don't even know how many years.
10 years, probably.
10 years, yes. In the studio. He is an amazing guy. We run into each other all the time. But you are the founder, of the 168 Film Project, of which when it first started, how many years ago?
19?
19 years ago. It was a concept, an idea. And that's what I love about this and you and your 168 is that you had a thought and you put it on paper and now you're making movies. So you're here to talk about Final Frequency, the latest film that you have produced. But first, I actually just realized that you and Bob are wearing the same color.
Yeah, both. Well, we had emailed each other today, make sure we match.
You did?
Yes. I email all the guests in the morning and make sure we match clothing.
What?
Yeah, I've been doing
You call
since
that
we started the
burgundy?
show. Yeah.
You call that burgundy?
No, it's more like purple. I didn't have.
Okay.
He wanted
We're
burgundy.
going to
I said
stop
purple.
doing that because that's weird. You didn't do that. Okay, we're going to do a word of the day and then we're going to dive into thanks, John David Ware's story because there's quite a story behind this 168 Film Project.
All right, so every day, every guest we do a phobia, and you have to guess a phobia. This one is actually not very hard, but the word of the day is
Cinephobia.
Cinephobia.
Fear of dark theater places.
Oh, fear of the cinema.
Close.
The fear of movies.
Fear of watching movies.
Fear of watching movies.
See, I wanted her to get it.
Thank you. You know what? He's carrying me. See that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, it can't be because you're not crying.
Thank you.
You'll cry later.
I know.
I promise.
You know that. I know. Well, welcome today. Thank you for coming out. We are so excited to have you. There's lots to talk about. I really want to talk about first just the 168 Film Project in general. What inspired you to do this? It's such a unique concept to have a contest based on scriptures, right? I've been following you for 19 years, literally. And I'm so impressed with what you started and where you've come.
Stalking.
Yeah, I know. Well, I kind of have. I mean, we've not stalked you, but we're all in the same industry together. And, you know, when you first did this, I thought, wow, 19 years ago it was unpopular to have a contest based on scriptures, right?
It wasn't happening. I know that.
I know. So tell me that journey, what gave you that idea and where you were and you have come a long way and you never gave up. That's the part that I'm going to cry on. You never gave up. You really didn't. And I'm sure along the way you had many naysayers saying, what are you doing? And why are you doing this? But here you are with your movie that we're talking about, Final Frequency, that stars Charles Shaughnessy from The Nanny, Lou Ferrigno Jr., Richard Berge, and Kirby Bliss Blanton. Pretty cool.
Well, 168, in 2002, I was running a ministry for Bel Air Presbyterian Church called Slate, which is salt and light aimed toward entertainment. And out of that, grew 168. And it's like, I was like, well, Satan's got cool stuff. Why don't God have cool stuff, that we're making? And so, we got together with some people and kind of envisioned it. It was patterned largely after the 48-hour film project, which is, the original where you do script to screen in 2 days. And I'm like, well, 2 days is not long enough to do something useful for your career, for the audience. So we're like, okay, well, what do we need? And I'm like, well, 36, no, 72, no, what's a week? 7 times 24, 168. I've never heard of that number. And so sure enough, we did the math and that's what it was. And nobody knows that number. So I felt like God just reserved it kind of for me and for us. And it's actually considered an extremely lucky number in Chinese culture. So there's kind of a built-in mystique about the number 168, but it is 7 times 24, and that's how we got our name. And so first year, people came to see how bad it would be. I know that's true. And we packed this little chapel at Bel Air Presbyterian and 13 films. And it was just a hit, like overnight. It was standing room only. And me and my dog hosted the show.
Do you have footage of that?
I do, yeah.
We need to put that in there, right?
No, he did this thing where he was crazy for the ball, and so I could make him do anything, including turn doorknobs and hold a football while I kicked a field goal. And then he'd go get the ball too. But I'd turn my back on him, and he'd jump up and just kind of hang there on my shoulders.
Aww.
And so that's how and then he won the best animal actor, and he was just like so gratified for that.
So tell me, the 168, for those of you who don't know and that are listening, is the 168 Film Project. It's a contest, and you give a themed scripture. Stop me if I'm wrong.
No,
and people get 168 hours, 7 days, right, to complete a short film of how many minutes? I'm sorry.
It could be up to 11 minutes, and our season is starting today, actually.
Today, that's so cool. So if any of you are listening and want to join in on this 168, you can go to
168film.com
and enter. You make how many shorts? How many people get selected? And
so we're clear, when he says today, he means May 26th, because this will air a couple days later.
Yes. And tell me what the process is for you. You'll post it on your website.
So filmmakers from around the world, they come to the website, they register for a team, and today and for about a week, it'll be $98 to sign up. And we've added this year a virtual film category and award category so that I can work with my friends in Australia for the first time ever. They've always wanted to be here and work with LA people. Well, now that's the geography and all those requirements are taken away. There's no more boundaries because of, basically what the COVID thing has done to the country and the world. Now we have all these, connections that we make over the internet. So anyway, a typical team is doing a speed film, okay? And what they do is they register, and then in August, we'll do the verse assignment, okay? And that means it's virtual, but some people come in, we take a pile of stones and put them in a shape of the cross. And every stone has a Bible verse underneath it. So they pick a stone and then they read it. And that is their filmmaking destiny for the next 17 days. So they get 10 days. They can't write before they get the scripture.
Right.
And so then the pre-production period is 240 hours, 10 days. And that means writing, locations, schedules, rehearsal, everything but recording. So on go time, which is 11 o'clock, they are able to start recording, and then 168 hours later, which is 7 days, they have to turn in or start their upload for a finished 11-minute or shorter film.
I love it because it's really kind of like the Amazing Race for filmmaking. It's really cool. And you probably get a lot of footage of the back of people, making their 11-minute shorts as well.
Yeah, the behind the scenes films that they turn in they're hit and miss, but the some of them are hilarious and fun and amazing. So it really gives a window into the filmmaking process for a lot of people, and people love it.
Well, tell me about your resume prior to the 168. What has inspired you, in this industry in general? You really, really, really have to love this industry to have any kind of longevity in it and not just give up and throw in the towel, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a kid out in the hall making, drawing pictures and making stories while everybody else was, in doing whatever they do in class, So it's kind of who I am as far as being a creative type. And my friend Derek, who's my partner on the film Final Frequency, he sat me down one year, and that was 2003, first year of 168. And he said, "John, you're going into the ministry and it echoed like ministry. I'm like, it was literally shocking to me because I came out here to be an actor, writer, director.
Yeah.
And so, God had something else in mind. So we do this thing for, I thought it'd be a couple of years. Well, it's been 19 years and, over 1,100 films and around 18,000, 19,000 filmmakers have come through this. So my resume,
a lot.
It is.
That's a lot.
No, my question is there anywhere people can go now to look at those films over the last 20 years?
Yeah, there's a lot on YouTube, but the big news is we're working on our OTT channel, which I think will be on Vimeo, but we'll see. There's a lot of competing services that do this, but
You can do a Roku channel.
We could do that, but we're going to offer subscriptions, and like I said, we've got 1,100 short films that we can put up there, so it's an instant destination, and we're going to make that happen this year or next year. And so
you know what I really think when I think about this and this whole journey that you've been on with 168, it's not. Yes, it's about the work, and it's about the hard work that people put into this, and the time and the creativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But those scriptures have been in the hands of 19,000 people, if not more, in those moments. And how many lives, you've changed with, even just one person needing to see that scripture in that moment.
I got some stories.
I just was going to say, can you give us a story about the divine appointments that have taken place?
Well, our holiest night of the year, so to speak, is verse assignment night. And that's when the people come in, they see the stones, and the stones will cry out, right? So they pick a stone, and nobody knows what their destiny is underneath that stone, including them. So in 2006, we had this girl, and her name was Marika Doritas, and her father's fairly famous on NPR. He's a DJ. And Marika was an actress in 2 films that year. And she was amazing. She won Best Actress at the age of 13.
Wow.
And so when she won the award, she deserved it. She was great. And then life goes on. And 2 months later, being an epileptic, tragedy struck. And she actually forgot to take the medicine in the bathtub. And she had a seizure, and she drowned. And so the parents were destroyed, of course. And so for 2007, Chris said that he was going to make a film in his daughter's honor. And we're like, yeah, that'd be great, Chris, but you don't have to, no pressure, So then we didn't see him the whole year. And then the verse assignment rolled around, and you can watch this online. It's all, we had just happened to have 2 cameras rolling at the time on this. So 52 teams that year. He was the 52nd team to pick a stone. There's like 12 stones left. And I'm up on stage, and I put the mic in his face. What's your number? 52. Okay. Pick a verse. He picks the verse. He looks at it. He's got this look on his face, and he looks over at his wife, and it's like, he looks like he's shocked. So, and then they all read their verse, and it's like, what verse does God provide for a man who just lost his daughter? Matthew 5:35-36 says, your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher anymore? And Jesus overheard saying, don't be afraid any longer, just believe. So everybody's just bawling and just like, nobody knows what to say to this guy. So
God just said it.
This one girl comes over and just starts hugging them. Everybody's crying. And, later we're trying to explain, no, we didn't fix this. No, God doesn't hate you. And so he has to go through this process of making a film about a girl or a woman who's lost her daughter. And it was really tough. A lot of things happened with the team that were not good, and he almost quit. But on the turn-in night, when we used to have them, deliver it in person, that got kind of dangerous with traffic and whatnot. But he comes in and he's joyful, and because he'd come through for his daughter, and so he made a really nice little film, and he probably did a year or two's worth of grieving in that 168-hour period.
I was just going to say that was God's way of sort of supernaturally catapulting him in getting through it, right? I mean, he uses so many different things for so many different people, but can you just say the verse one more time? Matthew 5:30, 5:36?
Yeah, it was, your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any longer? And Jesus overheard saying, don't be afraid, just believe.
Just believe. And I think that goes to, what God said to Lot's wife too, right? It kind of goes hand in hand. Don't look back. There's nothing for you back there.
Mm-hmm.
It's to move forward. In so many words, that's what I get from that verse. And so it's almost like God was helping him get to that point to move forward. Doesn't mean you have to forget that person. That person always exists. That memory always exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's his way. That's such a beautiful story. That must have just rocked your guys' year that year.
Well, we play it every year, because like I said, it's online. If you Google Doritos and 168 film, you will find it.
We're going to put that in this episode.
Yeah, and I can send you a link. But it's just beautiful. I mean, we got the piano music in there, and it make you think you're crying now.
Oh, I am. I'm like, on all aspects. I mean, there's just so many great things that you guys have done and been a part of, and but yet had no hand in it. You just let it roll, right?
Yeah.
You just put the stones, and then whoever picks it up, and
right.
And that was his. And that's how God works. He's pretty amazing. He blows my mind on a daily basis. So,
yeah, there's been one guy got the verse that's on his son's gravestone, and that was like, wow. One year, this was a really interesting year. We were at this office building that we had rented, and they'd given us like a deal on it, like it was like 20 cents to the square foot. It's like, you don't find that in Burbank. So now it's IKEA. But anyway, we were being asked to move by big angry Teamsters, and it was getting a little scary. And so they cut our power off, and so I'm in there, we're praying with the team, and sometimes I do this, it's kind of silly, but I'm like, okay, open the Bible and
I do that all the
verse.
time.
Oh, okay.
What's my day look like today?
I thought it was just me.
No, I do that all the time.
So I do that, and then I point to, it says, I shall not be moved. I do it again. And they'd cut our power so I could see my breath. We're freezing in this office.
Oh my God.
Because it's in winter. I do it again. They shall not be moved. I do it again. I shall not be moved. And I'm like, okay, I'm not moving, guys. So we didn't. And they were trying to get us to move before the film festival, which would have destroyed the whole effort. And
why were they trying to get you to move?
Money.
They wanted more money from you, or they wanted to use the space?
They wanted to rent it to someone else for a lot more money because we were getting an amazing deal. So anyway, we didn't end up having to move, which would have been a disaster for the festival that year. And, they didn't send their goons. So I'm alive.
You're alive and kicking and still doing all of these amazing things. So you have a movie that's coming out June 11th in 2 theaters. It's one of your contest winners.
It'll be eventually 5 or 6 theaters. Yeah.
5 or 6 theaters. They're going to start in Whittier and Anaheim.
Yep.
We talked about that before. The director is Tim Lowry, right? Final Frequency. It's the lost formula of Nikola Tesla. Basically, it's about the lost formula of Nikola Tesla that fell into the wrong hands. I'm like tongue-tied today.
So here's my question.
What?
What are the 4 vaccinations companies?
Why are you... Okay, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Moderna.
You can say that easily like that, but you can't say Rorschach test. You can't say Nikola
It's a
Tesla.
problem. This is what I
Is it
tell
just certain
you.
words that
It's
get
certain
you?
words and certain things. Yes, I know.
Because I'm editing, I hear you speak. I'm like, she knows every word and pronounces it perfectly, and then this little word trips you up.
Oh, wait, say that again?
I said I edit, and he says she knows no word. She messes up every word that she's ever had. And I have to get a voiceover actress to come in here and redo all your stuff.
You heard him say it the first time that I said it perfectly.
That was edited out.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, anyway.
It was a compliment.
Bob and I go back and forth. Sorry. Well, this film is really a great film. I mean, you had a lower, we'll just say a lower end budget film, even though it was not real low. It was still.
The official word is under $2 million.
Right. And
by the way, do they have like definitions of low budget, medium budget, high budget? Are there numbers associated with that?
Yeah, SAG does define their contracts as ultra low, which is under $250,000, and then medium low budget, or actually it's just low budget is $750,000, and then it goes up from there.
it's just amazing to me nowadays. I mean, when I was 25 years ago, when I was 26, the budgets you couldn't make what you can make now back then. Obviously technology advances, etc., and we know that's just the natural trajectory. Having said that, this movie looks like a $10 million budget movie. I mean, it's fantastic.
I would say 20, but whatever.
I would say 20. Yeah. I mean, when you get to 10 to 20, they kind of, you know what I mean?
It's all
relevant.
muddled up. Yeah.
But it really does. It's beautifully shot.
Well, I was impressed by, being a nerd, the video graphics, like the stuff on the computer screen, it matched perfectly. Was that on the screen while you filmed, or was it added later?
It was added later, yeah. And that is, Tim Lowry was not just the director, but also the visual effects supervisor, and he did all those screens.
We
had a big team working on the special effects in general, but Tim did all those screens.
Well,
yeah.
and
they're great. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has one of my favorite actors, Charles Shaughnessy, in it from The Nanny. And he's on The Magicians now. He's great. Tell me what it was like working with him. And how did he get the part?
Charlie, we call him Charlie.
Charlie.
And he's great. We love Charlie. We needed a professor type, and he's just perfect. I mean,
seems like such a nice
so
guy.
likable, and he is. He's really a pleasure to work with. Just do anything for you. He comes out to our events. When we had the premiere, we won Best Film. We won grand prize over there at the Grauman's TCL Chinese Theater and Golden State Film Festival. So he came out for that, and yeah, thank you. No, it was very exciting.
Charlie, we're wondering why you're not here today with David. You said you'd do anything for him.
Well, he might come on your podcast. Who knows?
Well, he's fantastic. I watched him on The Nanny, so when I saw that he was in this film, and he plays a great part in this film.
Yeah.
How did you guys approach him? What was that like?
Well, it's all a bit of a negotiation, and we had a budget, and we made an offer, and we fooled him, and he took the offer. So that was amazing, and it's all about do they have time? Will they do it for this money? And so it's a negotiation, and we did a little horse trading, and we got him and Lou Ferrigno Jr. and Richard Berge and Kirby. So we're really happy with the cast we got for the money we had.
It's great. Now, this is an hour-and-a-half film.
It is, yes.
And how long did it take to shoot, and where did you shoot, and was it shot pre-COVID?
It was shot before COVID, and we had all locations were in LA or close to LA. We shot in Azusa Pacific University for a lot of the classroom scenes. And then we shot in Tarzana at a mansion. And we shot in the other big location was over at the Shepherd Church, which is in Northridge, or Porter Ranch, actually. So those are the main locations, and we love Shepherd Church, we love Azusa, and our friend with the mansion. So we got a lot of production value out of all those things.
That's the thing is when you start doing a movie like this, you kind of start calling your friends, going, "Hey, And
you got a
it's
big house.
important.
Do you mind if we?
And it's hard because sometimes you have to pull these major permits, and people don't really realize what it's like, what it takes to put a movie of any movie together, even a short, even 11 minutes, right? Finding locations, getting set hair and makeup and craft services and lighting and
Well, if you got into it for the glamour like you did, you quickly find out that my constant refrain on the set is, where's the glamour, because it's like, there is none.
Yeah.
It's hard work, right?
It's really hard work. Really hard work. I mean, it's not, people often think, for me too, being a dyslexic, memorizing your lines, your mark, it's interesting. There's a movie called Living in Oblivion. I don't know if you've seen it with Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Really old movie, great movie, because it kind of shows the comedic aspect of it behind the scenes, right? Of what really can go wrong, does go wrong, right? I'm not many people have said they've seen that movie, but I highly encourage you to watch that movie, Living in Oblivion. Bob's writing it down right now. And Bob, actually, you would love this movie because it's right up your alley.
Is it right up my alley?
Yeah.
There's another film that I would recommend, but I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's about shooting the island of Dr. Moreau, okay, which had two of the biggest prima donnas on it ever. It had Marlon Brando and one of the Batman guys. I forget him.
It definitely was not Adam West.
No, it wasn't.
Because he's the nicest guy, and so's
one
Burt
of the newer
Ward.
Batman guys.
Oh, the newer Batman.
Well,
Okay.
not so new. But anyway, the director was a new first-time director, and they just took over. Once they got these big names, Brando, and the other guy.
It's hard because, the set is, and you obviously know all of this. You've spent more hours than me probably on sets. It can be the greatest place to go. And if it's the wrong, what's it called? I don't want to say spirit, but the wrong synergy, it can be the worst.
Yeah.
There's a lot of egos on set, and trying to manage that and navigate your way through them sometimes can be difficult, but the final product then you see,
Yeah, I've now directed a feature and produced one, and I prefer directing because you go through all the smell and the mess just the same, but then you get your vision to be seen up on the screen. It's more your vision than it would be like the producers.
Mm-hmm.
So Unbridled was the film I directed, and that's currently on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
So you can watch it for free with a subscription to that. And it's the story of a girl who's in a horse therapy program because she's being trafficked by Eric Roberts, who's her mom's boyfriend. So,
Wow.
Yeah. And it turned out good. I was script doctor on that too.
Wow.
I got to tell you, Eric Roberts is in almost every movie.
Yeah,
He's
he's
in
like
Heaven.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, he's always popping up in these movies.
He's great, though.
He is.
He's actually really, really. I have an Eric Roberts story. Excuse me. We both used to live on Laurel Canyon, and I saw him walking one day, and he was just walking up Laurel Canyon, and I was like, "Do you need a ride?" And he's like, "No, thanks so much, though." Put his thumbs up, and I was like, "Did you do that because of that movie? Remember my thumb, Charlie?" Okay, I totally digressed. But
Pope or the
yes, Pope
Greenwich
Greenwich
Village,
Village. Yes. Ooh, good recall, John.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I scored huge points on the set with Eric when I mentioned that film. He's like, "Yeah, that's one of my favorites too."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, he's so, world known for
Well, he's
that.
probably done 1,500 films, something like that. I don't know.
And what I love about someone like him or Charles Shaughnessy or, they're not pricing themselves out of what they love to do, the craft of it, right? They'll take a movie, like Robin Williams did with Good Will Hunting. He did it because he loved the part. He saw these two kids coming up with this amazing project, and that's what you're doing, is you give people hope. You've given 19,000 people hope to move forward in what they love to do. That's a blessing,
Well, we see potential in everybody, and a lot of them find out, well, hey, movie making is too hard. I don't want to do this, So, but the ones that stick it out, they go places. We've got some prodigies that are doing very well.
If you're saying it's too hard after 11 minutes, imagine like an hour and a half to, you're shooting 3 hours of film and you're editing it down and right.
Well, I mean, the politics can get
overwhelming,
very unpleasant on a 10-minute short or on a feature film. I mean, it's just like, it's like I tell people, when you're directing a film, you are the chief bottle washer, you're the politician, you are the visionary, you are emptying the garbage, you are the psychiatrist, psychologist, and whatever it takes, you're the cheerleader for that film because who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, you are the head of that set. So if you can't bring people to a place where they're like, yeah, I'm going to do better, or I'm going to do what I need to do to make this film succeed, then you need to get out of the business.
You're absolutely right. I've always said it. The director sets the tone.
When you have your teams that do this project, I assume the teams are formed in advance, right?
Yes.
And they just know each other?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Okay. And they're, well, the purpose for them doing the film, besides notoriety, is to win the contest. But does anything happen with their films after they give them to you, or you own them, or what happens?
Well, we have a license for them, and they're free to do what they like with them. And but we try to give them as much publicity as we possibly can. Because I mean, typically a short film is not going to make you any money. It's more of a calling card.
Right.
And my short film that I did 2009. It got me the job directing Unbridled.
Can we put that in there too?
Yep.
I'm going to have all these notes because I want to put all this in this episode
so
people can refer to it.
Yeah. And my short film's called The Chronicles of Herna. the Lion, the Ditch, and the Studio.
Seriously?
Seriously. And it's about, you can see a clip or a trailer up on my IMDb. And it's about a crazy director whom I play the lead, and his dog, and his obsession to make his film no matter what, or no matter who he has to crush to make this film. And so, he can't get a lion for the, it's a spoof on Narnia, so there's a lion. So instead of a lion, he makes a little costume for his pit bull, which was my dog Frank.
Love it. Was this based on a scripture, or was this just something you put together to have?
This was not connected
contested.
with
Okay.
Yeah, it was just my lunatic psyche that was putting this together. It's basically, I mean, we grew up watching Monty Python and Spinal Tap and all that. So it's kind of like Spinal Tap meets, Ed Wood, if you will.
I love it.
How long did it take you to put it together and do it?
We shot that in basically 4 days, and mostly in a studio. But we also had a outdoor location for the ditch, and it turned out great.
Pre-production was how long? It was like a year project or like a couple months project?
The pre-production was probably a month. I mean, I wrote the script, and then we just jumped in, and it was great. And I will re-release it probably 2022 because it's just funny. I mean,
how long is it?
It's about 28 minutes and a half.
We have to put a little bit of it in it. That's great.
Send us a trailer. We'll put it up.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Right here.
You have an important job. There's another lion picture in town over on the Laremont lot. You are going to go down there and see what's going on. Infiltrate. You'll be making a behind-the-scenes piece.
Keep the camera rolling at all times.
Expose significant problems.
They've had a long-standing feud with the studio on this picture. Budget squabbles, fits of rage, anger, tantrums and spite, malice, antipathy, acrimony. What do you think of the director's feud with the studio?
You don't want to do that, mister.
Why not?
Oh, look at the hair on the back of her neck.
Wow!
Ooh. I smell burnt rubber.
Where's Dorothy?
It's all over now.
Stuck on another low budget.
Rule.
Careful selection and breeding has produced an animal with character, intelligence, lionosity. A mere canine crossed with the king of beasts.
I won't share the next big lion thing. There ain't room for theirs and ours.
We're gonna need the soundstage a week earlier for Checksman 15. You did it! You made the Camp Fest of the Year with no money!
Print that. Check the gate, y'all.
What? Okay, I'm going to go a little bit Christian on you.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know, it's no secret what I am, right? I believe in God and Jesus, and I accept everyone. I'm not trying to force anyone to believe how I believe. And I've been in this business for 27 years. And so
You're a snake handler, right?
Yeah. No. No, I can't stand snake. Ooh. Although my daughter had a snake when she was younger. During your filming of any of these contest films that you've created, has anyone ever completely flipped to what they were believing and actually come to know God, or, you know, maybe as that scripture they were handed?
Yeah, because they all go in knowing it's going to be based on a scripture.
Right.
Yeah.
They do.
Right. And I'm assuming all 19,000 people that have entered have not necessarily been Christians
Right,
or
of course.
believers.
No, they haven't.
Which is so cool. You know, you're inclusive, and you it's been a journey for you. I'm just wondering if there's any story that sticks out in your mind.
Yeah, there's a few, and there's been lots of salvations on sets with 168, but I don't know about all of them. There are some I do know about. You know Jen Gottson, right? Mm-hmm. Well, she's a extremely extroverted, evangelistic, warm, loving person, and she kind of draws people in. And they had started to produce a 168 film, and they got this girl who, you know, they didn't know her very well, but she got in, and she starts working on the crew, and they found out later that she was going to kill herself. She had decided to kill herself, but she wanted to see what it was like to make a film before she died. So she gets into 168, and not only did she decide against suicide, but also she gave her life to Christ.
This is what I'm talking about. That's it right there. If that's what you did this for, it's like I always say, just one person. It's pretty
Those are the
big.
stories why you do this podcast.
It is.
I know.
I mean, it's not about us, you know? It's not about us. It's not about me, despite, you know, Bob wanted the whole show to be about him. It's not about you, Bob.
Give me a little bit about me.
It's just a little bit. It's just not. And so when you can affect somebody like that, that's incredible.
There was actually a baptism on a set, you know. A guy got saved, I think, at the Bible study that came out of, you know, this team. But they had a baptismal scene, and he decided, oh, well, let's get baptized. So he did, you know. And some of the teams, they treat it as medium ministry. Mike Wack called it that. Basically, they will, you know, they will be late with their film, which makes their whole cast and crew hate them because they're not eligible for awards. But they'll prioritize people and salvation over
contest,
material, accolades, things like that. Another story. Mike Wack is an extremely talented writer, director, producer, showrunner. Now lives in Florida, in Miami. Actually, he's moving to Tampa. But anyway, one year he decided to make a film for 168. Okay, so they had decided, they paid their fees. He starts having these dreams. And he's dreaming of a freeway, you know, and bunches of cars and a huge accident, okay? So the night after he's had these dreams, he's in this nearly life-ending accident. And he's got the 911. He recorded it. I don't know how he got it, but he's got the 911 of him, like, half dead, calling emergency, to try to get,
Wow.
the ambulance to come pick him up. So anyway, they start making the film that he dreamed about, And so on that film, all these people they made it a music video at one point instead of a narrative. And it became about everybody had these things that they wouldn't let go. And Mike had this dream of this film that he was going to make no matter what. And another guy had a heroin addiction that was on the film. And another person was just so mortgaged her soul to success that it was crowding out the living God. Okay, so it's called Break These Chains. And Mike wrote an original song to use in the film, in the music video. And he actually sang it too. And it's amazing. But what's even more amazing are the stories of redemption that came as a result of this film that was made.
That's amazing. I completely agree with the dream thing. I always tell people my dreams because I've had some prophetic dreams in my life. And I always tell someone.
See, prophetic.
Prophetic.
Okay, not pathetic. Prophetic.
Prophetic. Oh my gosh, Bob, you crack me up. But it's true, though. And God does speak to a lot of people in the Bible through visions and dreams. That's pretty cool. And I remember one of the producers telling me about a story that happened after God's Not Dead had aired, about a couple that went to the theater, and the husband was going to go see a totally different movie, and she went in to go see God's Not Dead. And
which you were in.
Yes, I was in. And he ended up going into the theater with her and then knelt down behind the trash can and gave his life to Christ. Pretty cool.
Very cool. But let me stop you there because you have something to give away that John brought in.
I do. Okay, so this is exciting. I'm really excited about this because, as you know, I did this little show on the thing called Beverly Hills Pond.
66 episodes, 5 years, ran on Reels Network.
Keep going.
I don't have anything else to say about it. Corey was one of the stars.
Gold sequin dresses.
Gold sequin dresses. But on the show, if you've seen it.
Bald dude with a gun.
Yes, Dina. We give away, or we not give away, we
sell at a very high price.
Well, no, we had a lot of people that would come on with Hollywood memorabilia. Jewelry doesn't really excite me, but when you talk about what goes, what happens. I mean, I literally was on one of the episodes with the cuffs from the original Wonder Woman. And when I saw it back then, these cuffs were like, that was it. Everybody wanted the cuffs. But when I actually had them in my hand, it was like
plastic or?
Yeah, pretty much with a staple in it. And that was what they bounced the now CGI whatever off of and made it these big, So it was really cool getting to see some of the Hollywood memorabilia that really, I had Thor's hammer and
Captain Kirk's chair.
I did. We had a lot of great stuff. From a lot of shows that I watched. I mean, I was kind of crazy sitting in Zsa Zsa Gabor's living room, right? I had watched Green Acres and it just was crazy. But today, I'll have you know, Mr. John David Ware was kind enough to come in and be selfless, as you always are. It just amazes me. You are. You're really one of the greats in Hollywood and in this world. More people should be like you. And he brought us, this is so cool. I'm fascinated. I don't even know what it would be considered.
Well,
this is not real for those of you who are trying to think that we have this big, giant, massive.
It is
Tesla
a sonic weapon.
Sonic weapon.
That is the
sonic
actual
weapon. Can you see this?
You can see it.
Look at that. Look at that thing. And
okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a contest over the next couple episodes, but starting next episode, that's going to be mounted on the wall behind you. So everybody will be able to see it during the shows, and then we'll figure out a way to give it away.
We'll figure out a way to give it away. John was gracious enough to say, I thought you could give it away. And this piece it's basically has its own credit. It starred in Final Frequency, the film you just.
I hate to ask, but is that one of several, or is that the only one, or?
It is one of two like that. We had kind of the mini version as well, and then kind of a medium version for different shots. So so it is pretty much one of a kind. It's one of two kinds.
I'll tell you what makes it more valuable. I know this from the show. 66 episodes. Just kidding.
5 years for Reels Network.
Yeah, go ahead. Is if there's an actual screenshot of someone who, carrying this in the film. So we'll print out a screenshot, put that in this episode, and we'll also give that screenshot if we can with your permission along with this.
Yeah, I think we can arrange that.
And we'll have you sign a letter of authenticity.
Well, that kind of makes it authentic, but a letter of authenticity does make it go up as well. But that is such a gift. People don't realize Hollywood memorabilia usually gets archived in some sort of, fashion
warehouse.
In a warehouse. And like Paramount, they've got a Universal
has a huge
Universal
warehouse.
has a huge one. Actually, yes, they have a huge one. And these items are not given away. Like you just came in and said, here you go. Yeah.
That's what it looks like in action.
Oh, that's cool. That is so cool. We'll put that on,
yeah,
right? And so thank you for being so gracious. That was kind. I mean, I can't believe it. We have our first movie prop.
There is a setting on there, and it shoots what's called a Coriolis effect. Did you know that?
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh. I was like, do I need to aim that at Bob?
John, you could have had her going a lot longer.
You could have. I actually could have.
But
I was
I'm a kind person, like she said.
No, it's okay. Everybody gets me. It's fine. I'm super thirsty today. Is that something? I don't know what that is.
Could be the heat in the room.
By the way, I encourage you to take a sip of this water, and I'm not just saying that because they are a sponsor, but it's. I would love to know what you think of it because it's really everybody that drinks it loves it. It's really good.
Is it?
I have to explain to you
Alkaline?
High alkaline. It's like 9+. I have to explain to you the whole concept of product placement. They don't want you to talk about the water. They just want you to drink the water.
I'm saying he hasn't had a sip, and it's 87 degrees in here. See the little balls dropping over there.
I want to check the air.
That's very good.
So it is good though, right?
Love it. Yeah.
Can I ask you who made this prop?
Our prop department, I believe his name was Ashton Warner. I'd have to check I can tell you.
Well, Ashton Warner, you did a great job because this looks like a real deal. Looks so
I'll tell you, John,
cool.
you're the first guest who showed up with a computer for everything at your fingertips, ready to go.
A computer and a prop.
This is my baby. I call it the Precious.
Oh my gosh.
You know where that's from? Cory? I know John knows where it's from. Do you know where it's from? My Precious?
You know where it's
yes,
from?
I do know where it's
Where
from.
is it from, Bob?
I'll tell you what, I'll write it on a piece of paper and you write yours on a piece of paper.
Okay, let's do this right now.
I'll give you a hint. There were 3 movies made about it, but 4 books.
Yes, it was Ashton Warner that made those. He was the property master and the property maker. Also, Paul Moran made some of the props too.
Paul Moran. Ashton. Tell me his last name.
Ashton Warner.
Warner.
Yeah.
By the way, where's Precious from? Cory?
The Precious.
Where's it from?
It's from Lord of the Rings.
water.
No, I was kidding you. I was kidding. It's actually from Star Trek.
That's not true.
I know. It's from Lord of the Rings.
from Lord
but
of
you
the
don't know
Rings.
that.
See, not everybody gets you.
Yeah.
You're getting wise to this guy.
I so believe me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trust me. It didn't take me long to get
Only
on
doing our
that
30s
wise.
episodes, so yeah.
I know, right? I'm still figuring it out. No, that's really cool. This would have been one of those items that we would have had on Beverly Hills Pond, just because it's.
All right, let me play with it.
It's just what? No, I'm actually looking at the craftsmanship because you can't tell when it's on camera that things just look so real and just
Metal.
Metal,
It's plastic,
yeah.
but
But there's a process that you go
Is
through.
it PVC pipe or what's it made out of?
No, it's trade secret stuff.
I see a little duct tape. I had an experience with duct tape on one of the movies that I did, and it was not great. No, it ended up taking my skin off. But that's a whole other
They
story.
duct tape right to your skin?
And basketball. I'm over it. I'm not, but they tried to get me into this dress, and so they put a little duct tape here. And just note to self, you can't put duct tape on your skin.
You can. It just doesn't come off very easily.
We will eat your skin after 12 hours, of it sitting on there. And it's not meant for your skin, to be honest. It's a great product. I
so
love
the
duct
face
tape.
that you give the guys when they're talking to you, that's a face of I have duct tape on me. This is driving me nuts. I want to get out of this
when
dress.
are we going to be over this? No, that was the face of I didn't know you were going to do that in that scene. Trust me when I say to you, I was just as shocked as they were because David Zucker, he's notorious for really wanting wanting an authentic take. And so he sometimes doesn't let the actor know, which I appreciate, right? But there was a specific scene that I was really legitimately shocked over that in basketball. I digressed, John. This has become about me, and it's really not about me, even though my lovely
it's
producer
my show and
has given me some mints today that suggest otherwise. So tell us what's next. So today's the 26th, but you have...
No, it's not. Today's either the 3rd or the 8th, depending on when John would like this to air.
That's what I'm just trying to get at, but thanks for...
John, would you like this to air on the 8th or the 3rd? Of June?
Maybe the 3rd.
The 3rd?
Yeah,
Okay.
because that would give people more time to plan to go to the theater.
Corey, today's the
on
3rd of June.
No, it's not.
Look at the calendar.
We don't have a calendar. Where is the calendar?
Today's June 3rd. Think it through.
It's airing
Today is June 3rd. Yes, and
Yay!
it's not a secret. I've told everybody I've been in the special trailer when I was a kid, and guess what? It was special, and it got me here today. So, God giveth and God taketh away.
Special
right?
trailer, is that like the short bus?
Yes, the short
It
bus.
was the short bus, but
Okay.
you know what? I'm glad I was on the short bus. I am.
I am too.
I learned a lot more.
I think you're
Pretty
born
special
for this
for the
short bus.
Oh my gosh, there's no more tissue, and this time I'm not crying. I'm just sweating.
Well, I don't have any more stories to make you cry. I could
no.
tell you about
John, look
some
her
of
in
the.
eyes and say, "We'll carry each other."
Oh, stop! Come on.
I will
There's only one
carry
like San
you.
Pedro.
I will carry you.
Thank you. Thank you. Why does that get me every time?
Because nobody has.
Oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful
my
thing,
back.
right? You don't want to do that, trust me.
Well, I could tell you about the thematic elements in the film.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Final Frequency it's more aimed toward a secular audience, and on an audience that maybe doesn't know who Jesus is. And the theme in it, though, is asked the question: are all men created equal, or do some have more value, or women? Or that they have more value based on their intellect, their money, their abilities, or things like that. So what we did is we set up, and we were working with the writer, we set up a battle between, the argument, first of all, but then representing the argument are a ragtag bunch of misfits, including a PhD student, Charles Shaughnessy. Lou Ferrigno is a mall cop, who got fired from the police force. So they're all trying to make good, with the, what society would probably call, lesser humans, so to speak. And then you've also got, there's a Luke Golden plays a deaf guy, and he's immune to the sonic weapons. So the bad thing of being deaf, so to speak, like people think that's a bad thing. Well, in this movie, it helps him because he's not affected by the sonic weapon, right? So we have the deaf community, and we have homeless people also taking part in this in-battle sequence with the LARPing community. So there's LARPers that get involved, and I play one of the LARPers. I got this gigantic Beetlejuice costume. I call myself BJ. But they fight the evil and the elitist scientists to try to get them to stop from creating this earthquake with Tesla's secret formulas and collapsing downtown LA. So you have that battle with the people that think they're elitist and better than everyone, and the common man, woman defeating this and winning the argument.
Kind of like what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you watch this and you think, this is awfully familiar, right? Seems like there's a little bit of art imitating life right now in Los Angeles and in general. I think
it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. I know. Oh, trust me, I know. I can't wait for it to be released and see how well it does. It's going to do really well. It has, it's Final Frequency, Charles Shaughnessy, Lou Ferrigno Jr., Richard Berge, and Kirby Bliss Blanton, which, by the way, I love her name. And it's great. Well,
I have to go and remove all of those now. I'm leaving them in.
She's making your job hard.
I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm just.
Did you hear how many times her cufflinks banged the table?
I'm so sorry. I always forget that. And you know what? Here's the funny thing about this. I did not wear bracelets intentionally, and then I put on a jacket that has cufflinks. So I could have done this the whole time.
Hey, John, turn around. Look at the sign on the wall. Directly behind you. No, directly behind you. Don't.
Do not bang that table.
That's
3
for
words
Cory.
to describe you.
Well,
red, underlined, bold, capitalized. Listen, again, I'm not perfect. Thank you, Bob. I know. This violin.
But even so, I will carry you.
Thank you, John. He's so awesome. You're awesome. When was the last time I saw you? We were talking about
Too
this
long ago.
before. It was a long time. It was like 4 years or 5 years ago. It was at a 168.
Yeah. Yeah, it was at the
Award show.
2019, I think.
Yeah.
Down at the Regal downtown theater.
We had an awards show. And what's that?
it's 2 years ago.
No.
2019?
Was it 29? No.
Well, we took off 20, so there was no festival or contest.
I wasn't
in
at that
2020.
one. I know it wasn't
2018
because it was 2018.
Okay.
Because
we were at.
I hadn't been completely destroyed yet by someone. What's that?
Said it was one of the other Beverly Hills Palm girls he saw in 2019.
No.
It was the one on the poster.
It was Dominique.
Yeah. No, it was 2018 for sure. But anyway, I digressed. We are, I really tried. I'm trying. See, John, I can't thank you enough for coming, but we have 3 questions that we have to ask. We get to ask you before you go. We could sit and talk all day. And I love the stories that you shared. That's the good stuff.
Well, and the cool thing is you can put that on your podcast.
Yeah.
Because it's on YouTube.
Right. We're going to get all those links. And
definitely.
Yeah.
And I can give you the trailer for Chronicles of Herna.
Yes. I really want to see that. I know. I know.
Can we see the movie anywhere?
It's 22 minutes.
It's not anywhere right now, but it will be soon.
All right, send us a screener on your email.
I could do that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to put that in. It's fun.
No, I wrote that down. It's definitely one I want to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It's fun.
It's got coconuts for galloping horses.
Oh, really? The Monty Python?
Yeah.
Hey, you're banging 2 coconuts together.
Horse
No, I'm
goes
not.
to 11.
This generation doesn't really know Monty Python, but that was just like, that was...
Yeah, but you know what? I showed it to my nephew, and he was like,
did he
this
laugh?
sucks. This sucks. This sucks. And then I showed him the cheese shop. Do you know that?
Yeah.
And he got it. He
Doubled over.
The light went on. The light bulb was illuminated, and now he loves it. So it just takes a while because it's not the kind of humor we're used to.
British humor. Yeah, we're not used to it.
Yeah, it's total British humor. It's so great. It's dry.
But I also find that usually a male will like Monty Python, almost like Benny Hill. Females don't get Benny Hill. My mom hated it. My dad loved it. So
it's like Three Stooges. When I find a woman who loves me and the Three Stooges, forget it. We're getting married. That's the screener.
A little fun fact, just so you know, I work with my best friend, and it's a long story, but anyway, I have a friend who's I don't know why I went into that whole thing. She is direct descendant of the Three Stooges.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Which one?
And I've wanted her to come on the show.
And does
She's
she
pregnant
love
right now.
the Stooges?
Well, the fun thing about her, and I've said this to her, you know, when I first met her, she would talk, you know, oh yeah, and she'd do this sweet little thing. She's absolutely gorgeous. Her name's Rachel, and she is just the sweetest thing. But I would go, gosh, she's so cute and fun and interesting. And then I found out she was a direct descendant of the Three Stooges, and I thought that makes sense because they're very similar. And she said, you know what? When our family gets together, you should see us all. It's the same thing. Everybody's just, yeah. So it's really cute, but we'll hopefully have to have her on the show. But that's a great, you know, most people have a lot, you know, crazier things on their list. But if you like the Three Stooges, you're in with David Ware.
You're in. Yeah, absolutely. You know, there used to be a Three Stooges store in Burbank.
Really?
Yeah.
Went out of business 5 or 10 years ago, unfortunately, but
you know, they're brothers, and there's a fourth brother.
It's 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shemp was.
Shemp, yeah.
Shemp, and then Joe.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but Curly.
I'm talking to a guy. I know the Three
That's why you guys
Stooges.
have the
Larry
same
Moe,
color
Curly,
on.
Shemp, and Joe.
I'm feeling a bromance coming on here. Wow. No, that's great. I grew up watching them. They're amazing.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you're the perfect
Oh,
woman.
I am. Say that again.
Can I carry you?
Our listeners didn't hear this.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe Cory is the perfect woman for you. That's the Coriolis effect.
And then we.
Come on! You are so mean.
He like lifts you up
And then
slams
slams
you
me
down.
down. That's sort of like my two ex-husbands. I'm just kidding. I love
Makes
you both.
good
You're
makes
so-
good
Double X?
podcasting.
Double X. I'm a double X.
Wow.
I know.
That's the old
okay.
joke. The guy said, I think it was Dimitri Martin, says, nothing better than when your ex-wife becomes your ex-L wife.
But you know what? The second one inspired me to write a song called "I'm Somebody's Daughter," and it was released and has helped a lot of people. I get a lot of comments on that of how it's helped them understand, both from men and women. So it's been kind of, God works all things together for His glory. He doesn't waste a single solitary thing.
No, and the people that say it's all good are lying.
Yes.
But it's all raw material.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes, and He'll use it.
Mhm.
He will not waste it. And you just have to be really willing to, and go through those hard times and suffer. But then you can just kind of look up. And as I did, I said, "What do I do with this?" And He said, "Turn your pain into your purpose." And so,
Most of the horrible things that happen to you are nothing but a funny story you'll tell at dinner 5 years from now.
yeah. And maybe that will help somebody at that dinner table.
Mhm.
So, John David Ware. I like saying his name. I don't know why. John David Ware. Our first question is just 3 words that.
Okay, John, she came up with this question
to
and can't get it right.
3 words that describe yourself.
Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Moderna.
There's 4 of those, just so you know.
You
But
picked the top 3.
Huh?
You picked the top 3.
3 words to describe yourself.
Oh, well, I would say a bit rebellious. That's 3 words.
Ooh.
But
A bit rebellious. Yes, it is. Wait, that's just one. But okay.
It's not describe yourself in 3
I used
words.
to be really rebellious, but you kind of learn.
I'm not getting that from you.
Rebellious light, rebellious ito.
I love that.
Well, I'm imbued with the indomitable spirit of the American West, and that's where I live, So, I don't like the forced domination that I've been seeing of late. It makes me sick. So, yes, that would be one of them. Another one, independent. Another one, creative.
Yeah,
that's good.
Those are good. Those are great. Are you familiar with? We are going to force this test on you.
Negativity.
I know. Sorry.
Is this
I'm
the
sorry,
Rorschach?
Lord.
Rorschach?
Oh my gosh, he knows what it is. Yes, it is.
You pronounced it wrong on purpose.
It's a Rorschach
Yes, I
test.
have.
It's not the Rorschach test, Rorschach test.
Rorschach
I've
test.
taken the Rorschach. It was a thing at sea that we did to make sure we wouldn't.
That's a different test.
Oh,
They have a picture of all
Can't
different
we do
sharks.
that one
It's a
instead of
picture of
this
all
one?
different sharks, and then whatever you see in the shark.
Yeah.
Oh,
You,
can we do
you
that?
believe anything
I
people
would
say
like
to you, don't
do
you?
that test. And yes, do you not know that? I will love you forever. Amen.
Yeah, if you'd have done the Rorschach before your 2 X's, then you would have seen shark.
Yeah.
And you would have said no.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have gotten A, my amazing love of my life, my daughter, and B, an amazing song that has helped other people. So, like I said, the pain was worth it.
And see all the humiliating stories you get to tell.
And understand other level of forgiveness, right? Like it's a real good thing
using the raw material that God gave you. Now, not everybody's good at that, and that's why you see so many people on the streets, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's hard. Well, let's see what you see in this Rorschach test. Ooh.
2 people screaming at each other, coming out of the wings of a bat
I thought you were going to say Costco or something like that. Coming out of Costco.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
That is a jack-o'-lantern with wings.
Oh, that's a good one. That does look. I can see through these. So.
Well, this is a couple of female monks with Simpsons hairstyle praying together with their knees touching almost.
These are good.
Marge Simpson, I think, was the name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Bat Baby with his head split in two.
That's so good.
That is a mask that Cory wears sometimes. It looks like it's a mask. The little goatee.
Yeah. Those are good answers. You are creative. Those were creative answers. Detailed. Lastly, we would like to know.
Will you carry me?
Yeah, I will and have. We have
will
all
again.
carried each other. Who is your, it could be past or present.
She doesn't have to be sitting right in
present
front of
company
you.
excluded, of course, because that puts everybody on the spot. So I'm taking myself out of this race.
Right.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh, well, I can't use anybody from the Pawn Stars.
No.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
So that's, I'll go with second guess.
Okay.
Celebrity crush. Vanna White's gotten a little too old.
Oh, Vanna. Actually, she's, to be honest, I've seen her and done her makeup years ago, and she looks amazing. Amazing. So props to you, Vanna. I think he's just saying too old for him in this current state of where John is.
Plus,
right
she's
now.
like married twice.
Oh.
So that doesn't. You know.
Oh, hang on.
2X.
Can you get that out of my back? A big
2X.
dagger.
She's a 2Xer, huh?
I'm 2X. That's so good.
Well, you said take you out of this, and I
love
wanted
it.
to
I
take
know,
you out.
I love it. I love it. He has a sense of humor. That's a good thing.
I'm faking it.
But go on.
Celebrity
Keep digging.
Well, she chooses horrible roles, but Margot Robbie, I suppose.
Oh, honestly, you're the first person that has said her and accurately depicted how I've felt about her. She is just incredible. I think she has a lot more than what she is been given and chosen. So I agree with you on that.
She's gorgeous, and she's amazingly talented. You go back to her film Tarzan.
Yes.
And she wasn't doing all the things she's doing these days. But wow, she's got chops.
Well, did you
Really
see her in
good.
Pan Am?
I didn't see that one. No.
Okay, well, Pan Am was
It
the
was
series that
series,
was
right?
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
the series it was on, and she was fantastic.
Mhm.
And then, she did Wolf of Wall Street and some other ones that I wouldn't have been my choice, but
Third is Betty White.
okay. Yes. I did her makeup years ago.
You did? Did you do everybody's makeup?
I actually did. I was on the show called The Home and Family Show, and so everybody would come in from 7 to 10, and we'd do their makeup on the show before they'd go on the show. And so, yes, we've done J-Lo and, Isabella Rossellini, all the greats would come in. Oh, yeah, it was amazing. But she came in and sat in my chair and was this ray of sunshine.
Oh, she's great. I think
Gorgeous.
she's just
Inside and
one
out.
of the nice people in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, I love that. Betty White. We'll end on Betty White. John David Ware, thank you for coming out today, and hopefully and prayerfully at some point in our lifetime together, I'll be in one of your movies. Bob's cracking up.
I would like that.
Bob's like, probably not.
Maybe you can go home and write a script, especially for her.
just
maybe you can write
saying.
a character.
Just saying. Anyway, we love you. Thank you. And keep up the good work. I know what you do is for God, and it shows. And thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being a voice and a light out there on the air.
Thank you, John.
And we're out.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver, and thank you for watching the Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below, and have a great day.